Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It's Thursday, June 18th, 2020, 9:30 a.m. Central, 9:36 actually, in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. We're talking catapults today, of course. We're talking miniatures painting and terrain building in this case. We're talking about the catapult miniatures we've been working on for a little while now. And some of what we're talking about is a little scouting around online, doing a little research, doing a little, we'll call it critiquing of paint jobs that are out there, because if it's a review, I can do it on here, right? All right, we'll take a closer look here. What we've got is pretty much just brown. It doesn't look a whole lot different from what I have done, which is to say this one right here. It's currently just brown. All I've done is paint it brown. And it's a darker brown than this, or a richer brown, probably the best way to describe it. What we have here by an individual is a lighter brown, and did not do any of the gears, didn't change a color for the rope, didn't paint the studs, the rivets, did not paint the studs on the tires. The metal piece that holds the axle in place on the wheel is not painted in any distinguishable way. Notice the rivets up here holding this block in. I guess they're probably nail heads. These pegs coming out of this would appear to probably be metal, but even that is unsure. Let's take a look at another one that I know was out there. We'll just bring it over. We'll bigify it in some way. It's a little fuzzy, but that's okay. All right, notice on this one, this is a little better job, right? There's the critique portion, the review portion. Notice the rope is a lighter color there, and of course on the spool in the center. You can tell that these were, an attempt was made to make these more metallic. Looks like black underneath, a little silver dry brushing on top, and then probably a lacquer finish, or it looks a little slick, a little shinier than probably I would like, but it's not a bad job at all. Looks pretty good. Even the detail down here, the metal pins that hold the wheel on the axles are painted. The gears, two different colors, outer gear itself and then the inner piece that it spins upon, or is this the cap of the actual I guess it's, I don't know, it's probably not called an axle, it's probably called something else, right? Nobody in chat to jump in and say something? No? Okay. This locking mechanism here for the crank, for the gear. The pegs coming out of the cranking spool mechanism, whatever, is are blacker than the wood, right? And notice they did a little dry brushing to get the edges of the wood to have a worn look to them. And even this thing's been around the block. They didn't build this today and bring it to battle. This monstrous piece of timber construction has been around for a little while, and this is a good thing, because you want that to look that way. So you can see that these were painted black, and then a little dab of silver popped on top of them. The nail heads up here. Anywhere you have wood coming together as if this was cut with a post or a peg in a hole, right? Up here where these go, where this goes into that. On the ends, these fit together like this. You'll see on the back side, though, that those are got some more nail heads around other various places. I think that's it for the metal. And of course, like I say, the rope has to be distinguishable from the wood, so it's made lighter, which is good. The tightly wound rope around that spool is made lighter. This looks like a big serving spoon, right? Or ladle. Giant ladle. A ladle pult. Let's call it that. Because that'll offend someone. That's how that works, right? You make a word up and someone will, I don't know, I don't think that's fair to the people who build catapults to call it a ladle bolt. Yeah, well, the first time it throws stew or soup at you, you're gonna be thankful I named it that. So the ends of these are dark. We've seen railroad ties, huh? We know how they weather. Depends on the wood they're made of course, to how they would weather, but there you go. Good morning, Dweller 8. Good to see you. So I was just showing off this lightly painted brown, no detail work done on this one. These are a couple I picked up doing a Google search that I'm critiquing. This is not as much painted as I would want it. This is pretty well done. Maybe slightly different in the coloration. I don't know if I'll go this light with the rope, but I think the silver over top of black for the wheel rims and the nail heads and the gears with the two different inner outer, I think works pretty well. The pegs on the cranking mechanism all look pretty good. So I think those are all right. It says we got 4 in the chat, but I'm not seeing anyone but myself, even though I know you're there, Ink Dweller, because you've chimed in. I was just looking to see if there were any other opinions. I didn't want to take for granted that everyone would agree. Let's put that down. Go back to the title screen. So, it's all pretty simple. That's the plan. Hey, Hobbsy, how's it going, buddy? Oh, you don't care for Hobbsy, right? Hobbs665. Jason, shall I just call you Jason? You're playing again with the small head emojis, huh? You young kids, I have no idea what using those as an emoji means, to use someone's actual head with a hat turned slightly sideways. Is that what that is? Is that actually your head? Jason, did someone make that for you? Did you make that yourself into an emoji for your own channel and for yourself whenever you pop into a place? And when you first post in a place, does it automatically just do that as a sort of a, is it like a trumpeting of you arriving at a location where burp, 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 3 heads, 3 Hobbs heads? Or do you actually have to click on that 3 times to put 3 Hobbs heads in as a thing? I don't know. I'm old. I don't get any of this stuff, you know. It's oh, that's something, you know, I should ask while you guys are here. They so lots of channels have like custom emojis, I guess, like those Hobbs heads. and they'll have a way to gain points while you're in the actual stream chat. So you can collect, I think they automatically give you like 300 points just for coming in. Sub emote, that's what that is, huh? A subscriber emote. Is that what that sub stands for in this case? Anyway, so for a channel, you can create names for what those points are. I know some places call them like gold pieces or silver pieces or painter points or something. I think I've seen in one channel that does mainly does painting of stuff. And I don't know if you can have multiple ways of using them, like if you call them platinum, gold, and silver coins or copper coins. Do they work out a different way? Can you do something with something like that? Something kind of first edition-y? I guess that's the question. If I'm going to do anything to, I don't know if I can even call it upgrading the channel. I guess customizing the channel, right? Customizing this particular Mark CMG OK Grognard Show channel. I'd probably want to go with some sort of first edition theme or something. So maybe there's a way to set up the points so that I don't know, a single name for loyal. They call them loyalty points, actually, huh? Okay. That I guess I didn't even understand that much, and I probably should, because I know whenever I go to another channel, they pile up on me. I know I collect them. I know when there's a little thing glowing or undulating at the bottom, I click on it to stop it from doing that, and it seems to give me more points. I'm only doing it because I see it as a distraction. Again, that's because I'm old. But the question is, you can only give one single name for the loyalty points. Huh? What are they called in your channel, Hobbs? You got a name for them? Are they called neighbor points or good neighbor points? Gamerhood points? Gamerhood loyalty points? Is there some sort of name that you have for them? You can use them to buy stuff. All right. Is it meaningful stuff, or are they? Oh, well, those little things next to your names, right? Haven't changed the name. Okay, so they're just loyalty points in your channel. But like that little crown you have next to your name, and Ink Dweller has next to his name. Did you buy those in my channel, or do those follow you around because you have a channel? What does that actually stand for? Twitch Prime. Okay, so you're Twitch Prime users. That's why I don't even have one, because I don't have a Amazon Prime account. So I guess if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch Prime account, or you just have to register for it, or you get a free try and then buy Twitch Prime account. Those have different significance. You're saying those have a significance in regard to your abilities or something, right? Not even sure what that does. I think Twitch Prime lets you upgrade your account in some ways. I think I think I read somewhere that certain channels can have specific streams that only Prime users have access to. You have one free sub a month, right? That's right. You can, through your largesse, hand out a subscription or get a subscription at a channel once a month. Hey guys, don't grab one here, by the way. Save those if you ever get tempted. I'm not looking for subscriptions over here. this is not a channel that is intending on gaining subscribers or getting making any kind of money or anything. I just do this for my own fun to help me keep track of the days of the week during this extended lockdown. This was never done as an intentional money maker of some kind, so don't ever think of it that way. This is just me dicking around as a first edition gamer who decided he had a webcam and wanted to screw around with the whole idea of streaming some sort of gaming gobbledygook. So there it is. Don't ever think of this as something you should subscribe to. It probably sounds bad, right, to say that? But let's see. Let's turn this one off. Hey, you saw the David Pancake drawing there, right? This is actually an entire... let's see if I can grab it, show it off a little more, since it is what it is. Right? There's a cat up on the top shelf. There's a table, books, upside down skull sort of thingy in a thing, little tiny mouse, lantern, book with what appears to be a lock on the front of it. Anyway, David M. Pancake makes these, does cool artwork. He does this sort of stuff at Ren fairs, gaming conventions and whatnot, and sells their stuff. And of course, he's obviously not getting out to any of these events. Quick question, what's going on with the OS Zine? I'll get back to that in just a little bit, but that's just something I'm working on for a little while. It's still underway. It's not something that's going to happen fast. Anywho, David Pancake, you can go to his website and get a print like I did of something of his artwork. And when I got that, I asked him if it was okay if I also used it as a background on Twitch, and he sent me a file so that I would have the full image. The cat looks really real. It's pretty weird. Right? Pretty amazing. Now I have to smallify it. Ooh, these things are so weird. Anyway, I keep it like this. I think I might break the image up so that I can have this stuff that's on the table in a foreground, put myself in between the table and the bookshelf. Right now, when I've been sitting on the thing and I don't have the green screen in place right now, I usually just put myself in front on the left or on the right over here, and I put myself in front of this stuff, and that works out just fine. Anyway, that's not important. I'm just using it as a backdrop now to fill in for whatever isn't being covered by this. Now here's an interesting thing. I wonder if this can be configure video. I wonder if this can be adjusted. I should make it brighter and with more contrast. Let's try that. How does that look? Might as well dial this in a little bit. Right? Wheels up, wheels down. So it's showing up upside down, and I don't think I've turned that camera around, so let's see if there's a way Pan, tilt, exposure, roll. Roll doesn't work in this. So apparently, my camera, configure video, default device. My camera's somehow upside down. Well, that's not good. We'll have to fix that. Nope, it's showing right side up now. Or is it? No, actually. Yeah, it is. It's showing just fine. Is that a little more detail at least, though? I think that looks a little better than it did 5 minutes ago. It looked a little washed out to me. But, anyway, OS Zine. What gives? Well, it's just going to be an old school zine. Just going to be a digest sized, like 16 page, old school edition compatible material. Probably have a little adventure in the middle of it with a map. We'll throw a couple of magic items in there, a couple of NPCs, couple of creatures, new creatures, right? We'll make some stuff, make some newer stuff. Probably thematically, what I should do is incorporate those different pieces that I'm putting in separately into the actual adventure at the same time, right? So maybe there'll be 6 pages of new bits and bobs, and then another 6 pages of adventure, and then a couple pages devoted to the map. What's that take us up to? 14? And then we got the cover. You know, I'm just kind of estimating here, but probably that old school zine will essentially be that, right? And just for those that might not know what I'm talking about, let's just pop this up real quick. Then we'll go over to Oop. I think we can bring this up on here. Here we go. All right, so that's what we were looking at. This is just a mock-up of a cover that I'd been working to put together for it. I don't have any idea whether this is going to be like an annual thing or a quarterly thing, or I'm just calling it a periodical rather than a quarterly, so I don't shoot myself in the foot coming out with one and then feeling like I'm forced to come out with another in a certain period of time, because I don't know what my regular job is going to require of my time. I know I've tried to set up this OK Grognard show being at 9:30 a.m. every day in a way that keeps me from having to dump it once the lockdown is over or the game store is open again. As far as I know, I'm, rehired over at the game store when it reopens. They're looking at that Badger. Jason's looking into, not Jason Hobbs, Jason Ludke, who owns the store. He's looking at that Badger bounce back program. There are like 6 criteria, which all had a red light when the height of the first wave of the pandemic was on. And they're, in regard to percentages and whether cases are going up and down, deaths are going up or down, all of that stuff. So the idea was, once all those things are going down, then businesses can start to reopen. I think currently it has like 3 green lights. So right now that is the situation for this whole thing. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. I'll bring it up real quick. Why not, right? So, Wisconsin Department of Health Services, COVID-19 Badger bounce back. This is the thing he's been keeping an eye on. Symptoms, currently is a red light. Symptoms, downward trajectory of influenza-like illnesses, downward trajectory of COVID-like syndromic cases, number of cases. It's about trajectories as much as anything else. Hospitals look like they're ready, are both in ready condition. There's a downward trajectory for the number of cases, of COVID-like cases. So downward trend of COVID cases among healthcare workers. That unfortunately is not true. So it's currently an upward trend there. So the idea was once this gets to 6 green lights, Lake Geneva Games will reopen again. Because in the case of Lake Geneva Games, the business model is predicated on being able to. Time going to work, Hobbsy? There you go. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. The business model for Lake Geneva Games is predicated on being able to use that game space. And if we can't safely use the game space, and don't forget, you get 8 people sitting around the table for a Magic draft, and they're opening a pack and handing cards to each other, and they're all sitting within 2 feet of each other. And even if they were sitting further away, they're handing things to each other. Could you play a sealed tournament? There'd be less close contact, but you're still potentially touching each other's cards when you cut decks. I suppose you could self-cut. You're still sitting 3 feet away from somebody and facing them and talking for up to 45, 50 minutes, right? With that one person, you got to do that 3 times if you're playing in a tournament and you're having 3 rounds. Even if you were to do a sealed tournament and build your own deck, or do a constructed tournament and come into a place and play, you're still sitting across from people in close quarters and talking to them. And it's hard to imagine an environment that was more likely to spread anything that people might have. So, does that work for a lot of people? Probably. A lot of people would take that chance, right? Not that big a deal for the majority of the population. But you and I sit there and you give me something and I take it home to my grandma. What's happening then, right? You and I pass something between us and one of us goes off to a restaurant after, or goes off to a department store or a big box store where there are literally hundreds of people. And even though you might have caught something and had not been outside of the house for quite some time and didn't go to places like that because you thought, well, maybe I've got it, so I'll just go to the game store, but nowhere else. Well, now you've given it to everybody at the game store potentially, and then wherever they go. So the game store is on lockdown. The game store can't open really until it's able to safely use its game space. We could open the retail area of the store, but it more than triples our overhead to have to staff and open up the retail end. So we're losing less money staying closed and treating the place as if it's a somewhat expensive storage locker than if we try to hobble along opening up the retail space but not the game space and try to sell things. And that's not what we're in business to do. We didn't open up a game store just so we could sell games. We opened up a game store so we could run tournaments and have game space and a place where people could go and play. The retail space is there to help support the game space, so we don't have to charge for it. And that's kind of the social contract you have with your customers, is that they come to the game store to use the space, but they buy stuff while they're there. And in buying stuff, they help support the game space. So that's the long and the short of that. We will say that we're at our 30-minute mark for the day. We reviewed a couple of paint jobs to look at for our next week's painting of the details on the catapults. You'll notice even the promo image that's on this card, which I grafted over from their PR, their marketing, really doesn't have, you can kind of see the highlighted nail heads, rivets, whatever. The wheels do have a black hub. You can barely tell if the rope's painted or not. It kind of is. You can see bits of lighter color on the rope in there. So that's the kind of thing we're looking for. And that's what we're going to be doing with all of these. And don't forget, coming up fast, June 29th, Monday, Harryhausen Day. Make ready for that weekend to watch a few Harryhausen movies. I know that's what I'm going to be doing. Also, come on back tomorrow. We'll be working on Virtual Tabletop Adventures. DM Cartoons on Saturday. Rules Retrospective on Sunday. The weekly news and giveaway on Monday. Tuesday's cartography and world building campaign discussion on Wednesday. Then back around to crafting and painting on Thursday. So come join us again. And I want to thank everybody who's part of the Twitch channel, who is a follower and who chimes in during the stream chat that automatically enters you into the weekly drawing. Thank you very much, Ink Dweller, Hobbs, for chiming in today. Hopefully we have some more people who will do so in the future. If you're catching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up if you would. We'd appreciate it. And we will catch everybody soon. Have a good week and good weekend and good gaming to you. Bye-bye.